Okay, I'm good. I'm back. Where were we? Zhao had just discussed setting a trap for the Avatar. Okay, got it. So we rejoined Prince Zuko, and all this character hopping is making me dizzy. Anyway, Iroh tells them to get a life and find a girlfriend, but Zuko tells them no, and brings over some random kid to exposit as to why.
You look like a very smart boy. Tell me what you know about the prince.
He did something wrong.
He spoke out of turn to a general in defense of some of his friends who are going to be sacrificed in a battle.
Then Prince Zuko was sentenced to an Agni Ki duel. But when he showed up, it was his father he was to fight. He would not fight his father.
Then his father mocked him and said, "I should bring your sister up here to beat you."
Then the father burnt his son to teach him a lesson.
What did that have to do with the pretty girls? Well, he's saying that getting his honor back is of a higher priority than girls. Did bringing that kid into this really help his explanation? Not in the slightest. So we cut back to Aang and the gang. Wow, Husky's right, I am getting dizzy. Aang saw from Sokka's map that they are near another air temple, and he wants to go check it out to commune with the spirit world like he did before. Sokka won't hear of it though, and tells Katara to talk him out of it. I'll give you 3 guesses as to how well that works. Aang suddenly seems to start demonstrating huge boosts in waterbending prowess, fueled by painful memories of his backstory, but stops himself short, like he was scared of something. He eventually goes to the Northern Air Temple, and there meets a kindly old visitor from the Earth Kingdom, who leads him to a secret chamber.
It's a chamber of secrets.
Full of statues of Aang's past lives. Admittedly, they get the details right about how they found out Aang was the Avatar and about his previous incarnation, Roku the Earthbender, but that's really par for the course. This scene also gives a little more emotional depth to Aang's feelings about being forced into his role of the Avatar. But the damage is already done before, and this is kinda like putting a band-aid on a knife wound. And yeah, the old man then sells him out to the Fire Nation. Jerk. While in prison, Aang has another vision about another dragon telling him about the Fire Nation's plot to overthrow the Northern Water Tribe. He wakes up to see Commander Zhao being his jerky self again, but reveals he suspects Aang only knows airbending. Meanwhile, a conspicuously inconspicuous intruder shows up with questionable intent. So he beats up the guards, frees Aang, and then they engage in another disappointing action sequence. Why is it disappointing, you might ask? Because while Aang shows off some pretty impressive moves for someone his actor's age in the beginning, they eventually start showing way too much slow motion here. This makes you ask, why didn't they show us some of their super quick, awesome fighting moves? Then you realize that this fight choreography wasn't done all that fast at all. They really are just moving like narcoleptic slugs in real life. Lame! Then Zhao gives the order not to kill the Avatar so that he won't be reborn all over again. Then he asks Prince Zuko, I mean the masked intruder, who he is. He doesn't answer, go figure, and uses Aang as a hostage to try and escape. It doesn't work out like he'd hoped. Oh look, it was Prince Zuko, who would have guessed? Aang then forms a smokescreen out of some clouds, allowing them to escape, and he eventually drops off Zuko in some forest somewhere.
You think my son is this person the soldiers are calling the Blue Spirit?
Yes.
Do not harm my son.
You have my word, sire. I will not harm him.
That's code for it. Your son is pretty much screwed, sire. So Aang reunites with Katara and Sokka, and Zhao figures out that they're all headed for the Northern Water Temple so he can learn waterbending. So they reach the water village where the princess and Sokka fall instantly in love. Bull! What? Bull! In the series, their relationship took several episodes to form and develop before they became involved. This whole love at first sight thing is bull! I actually have to agree. Even outside of the context of this movie, I've always found that particular plot point to be a very unconvincing one. So they prepare for battle that they know will come, when this guy says,
As many fires in this city should be put out as possible when the alarm sounds. We want to minimize their bender sources.
Hold it! What now? No, this is not Pyro from X-Men we're dealing with here. What he just said implies that the firebenders need a source of flames to manipulate their element.
Makes sense to me.
It's time for the Art of Firebending 101. The source of power in firebending comes from the breath. Proper breathing techniques coupled with the right body movements results in a burst of fire extending past where the striking limb ends, where it's fueled by internal body heat, not pre-existing flames. Thus, firebending is essentially attacking your opponent with extended fists and feet of flames. In short, this movie is stupid! Stupid!
Not this again.
I guess we then get a short lesson on the basics of waterbending.
As Master Water, you must release your emotions wherever they may lead you.
This waterbending is the creepy hippie of the four elements. You gonna be okay, Husky?
I think so. But when it comes time for Aang to apply some of what he's learned, we can all tell that he's holding something back. Something big that would probably kill everyone around him if he were to let it loose. Since Iroh and Zuko's ship got blown up, and Zhao thinks Zuko is dead, he invites Iroh to come along with him so he would have someone to be a jerk to, and so that Iroh would still be a part of the plot. Sokka and the princess then get all of the romantic development they'll ever get in this next scene, and then we find out that the princess's hair is white because the moon spirit, who gives strength to all of the village's waterbenders, gave her a pinch of its life force when she was a baby so that she could survive.
Paving the way for some Deus Ex Machina, I can already tell.
But that's how it happened in the show!
I don't care. It's still Deus Ex Machina.
So the Fire Nation arrives at the village, and Aang needs to meditate in the village's temple to ask the place's dragon how to defeat them.
Aang, can you hear me?
Yes, now shush.
I knew you were real.
That's great, I need to concentrate.
I always knew you were.
Shut up, I'm trying to save the world over here!
Zuko arrives and pretty much proves that Katara is rather inept and inconsequential at this point. This is the point where everything starts to come to a head.
What the heck is he? Shh! Whatever. I'm gonna wrap this up. We're almost done with this movie, guys! Alright, just a little bit longer.
Katara tells Sokka and the princess that Zuko took Aang again while he was meditating. The moon spirit tells Aang to show the Fire Nation the power of water without actually hurting anyone. Zuko's been whining to him about his angst while he was unconscious. Aang wakes up. The Fire Nation then attacks. These two have the best action sequence in the whole movie. Katara does some bad voiceover work and then redeems herself from useless character with a bad actress to useful character with a bad actress. Aang makes sure that Zuko will live long enough for a sequel, then he melts himself free. The ocean and moon spirits are actually fish. Iroh tells Zhao not to kill the moon spirit, but he does anyway. The moon turns red, all the waterbenders lose their powers. Iroh tells the princess to give up her Deus Ex Machina to revive the moonfish. Sokka tells her no, she does so anyway and dies. Waterbending returns to the world. This guy tackles a Fire Nation soldier. Iroh spouts some philosophical junk, and Zhao is killed in an extremely brutal way for a kid's movie. Aang shows off some more unconvincing acrobatics, shifts to his avatar state, uses every last ounce of waterbending power he has, lifts a huge wave over the entire Fire Nation fleet, and just kinda does nothing with it. The Navy runs away scared, and then the entire nation bows to Aang, and Aang formally accepts his role as Avatar, and the movie foreshadows its sequel by flaunting Disaster Girl here as the new big villain. The end!
So, what's our final verdict on this flick? Husky?
Fans of the show will hate this movie, and I do too! Leaf?
While the special effects are quite impressive, the poorly developed characters, the poor acting, and generally disappointing presentation offer for an all-around disappointing movie.
That's the best way to describe this movie. Disappointing. Fans wanted this movie to be great, and it let them down with its countless divergences with the show's plot and concept, and non-fans with its bad acting and often rushed pacing of the movie. But I want to address something before we close. A lot of fans were up in arm about the casting of Noah Ringer as Aang because he was Caucasian and not Asian. I say, while he's not the best actor they probably could have chosen, his movements are incredible, and I challenge anyone to find a better child actor for this role.
That being said, it doesn't come close to saving this movie.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we got ourselves some serious firebending training ahead of us.
Didn't think you'd make it out of that one alive. But still. I always thought he'd be more like an earthbender. He couldn't possibly be the next. Nah,